want to start a peace museum, an online peace museum, because it seems to us that that is a way of getting through to more people on the one hand, but also to start collecting a variety of materials which are important and difficult to access, certainly not in one place, for most people who are interested in learning more about the peace story of this country. It's particularly important, I think, in the context of next year being the centenary of the Gallipoli and Anzac story. So there will be a big sort of exhibition of all of what has happened in the war. And what we want to really do is start a collection of things, of examples as to what has happened in terms of peace, because there was quite a lot of things happening both before and during the war, and most of those things are not accessible to people, or certain groups of people know about it, but we want to create a museum online so that those stories can be kept, artifacts can be filmed, can be created. Also, materials could be developed to use in schools or at universities for teaching and learning purposes, and so on. It seems to us that it is a really important point to make at this moment, because of, as I said, the centenary of that first great war, which was meant to end all wars, and which, as we now know, has done nothing like it, has actually made a variety of things worse, particularly given the development of technology and all of that. So that's what we want to do. That's the kind of it should be accessible, it should be usable, it should be interactive. That's why we call it a living museum, online museum.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea. I think it's really important, especially at the moment, because our current government wants us to go off to war again, and it just seems like war is a never-ending cycle in our history. So it is important to tell the story of peace, and that there's an alternative solution to just going to war.
And it's good to hear that you're saying that, because I grew up in that generation who tried to get out of the Vietnam War, whereas you, as a young person, you have been witnessing, if you want, all these modern wars which we think particularly about the Middle East, and our attempt to rush in yet again and to start doing things which are much more warlike rather than creating peace.
So please help us.
I didn't get that.
So please help us, everybody. Please help us put more peace in the world.
Are we already? Oh, okay. Okay, then you start with that.
Oh yeah. Please help us create the online peace museum, which we really feel like is important to create a more peaceful world.
And given that public funding will next year particularly more spent on commemorating, probably even celebrating the Anzac story, there will probably not be too much public money available for celebrating peace and for remembering those kinds of people who have fought for peace at home or wherever it was. Like, for example, also the Australian peacekeepers who have been working in the context of the United Nations. So those are the kinds of things which we would like to celebrate.